Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Life in Frame channel. We're going to be doing another morning dash. We had tried a morning dash in the last video, and it didn't really turn out as well as I thought it was going to be. I'm not out quite as early as I was yesterday. I'm about 9:30 here. So I'm going to turn on the dash now. I think we're going to go to around 11:30 this morning, and then I'll go back out and dash this evening. It's kind of a big day for me. I have an interview at 1 o'clock today, and it could be a life-changing interview if I decide to, first of all, if they offer me a position, and two, if I decide to take it. It could change everything, and this Doordashing, this could be my last Doordashing video if things work out the way that they could. But you'll know in the future if that came to pass or not, if this ends up being my last Doordashing video. Alright, it is the first of the month today, so as we log in, I have the congratulations. I did a lot of deliveries last month, it says, and great customer service, yada yada. This means you're qualified for top Dasher rewards. Well, not surprised. I don't know how many deliveries I did last month, but I think we're getting close to 900 if we're not at 900 already. So anyway, got top Dasher rewards, can dash anytime. Supposedly more deliveries, you'll get deliveries when things are slower, so preferred status, which is good. I don't see where it says here anything about getting better orders anymore, though. Interesting. Interesting. My impression's always sort of been that you get better orders, but see if you, I don't know if you can see this, but so one of the perks it says there is dash anytime, right? And then the other one, more deliveries. But I swear there used to be get better orders too, and I don't see that anymore. So that makes me wonder if they've retracted that because everybody gets the same orders. It's just whatever order's out there. So does that mean that it's worth maintaining your top Dasher status? I mean, I guess if you're getting preferential treatment on getting orders first, it could still be a benefit, but if you're not getting better orders per se, maybe cherry picking is the way to do it. I don't know. Anyway, let's start the dash. We'll go till 11:30. As I said, I have not only that, but I have some things I got to run and do. Being the first of the month, I need to move some money around and stuff to cover all the bills and pay the rents. So, wow, that was quick. McDonald's, $4, 1.3 miles. Not a great order. This is my minimum, so I wouldn't do it if it was less than this amount. But 1.3 miles, we're doing nothing, so we might as well accept it. So I went ahead and accepted it. And so let's make sure it's the McDonald's I'm thinking of. It is. I don't need the Irene or Chelsea or Cheryl, whatever I decide to call the navigation, to help me, depending on what voice I get. So we're going to head over there now. Not too far away. I actually was just at McDonald's. I unusually got myself breakfast this morning. I noticed something that I see a lot, and I did in the city I was in before moving here too. Lots of homeless people out, you know. A lot of them on the side gesturing or dancing or whatever the hell they're doing. I don't know. It just seems like we have a real homeless and then also mental health epidemic in this country, where it didn't used to be this bad. Now, of course, I didn't live in a huge city when I was growing up. It was a small town, and so we didn't really have the same sort of problems, right? But I think it's definitely gotten worse. You know, it used to be there was places and facilities that would take mental patients, you know, and take care of them. And now I feel like with the way our health system is, it's just, there's not an option for that anymore. You know, unless you have somebody in your family who's flipping the bill, you're on the street. So, I don't know. I just, it makes me, the reason I bring that up is it makes me wonder, you know, how practical it is to carry. You know, I don't worry as much about that as probably other people. I'm a little bigger guy, and so I don't think people look at me and say, hey, there's an easy target. But if you were a DoorDasher and you're a woman, or you're a smaller guy, or whatever your situation is, I could see people wondering, like, hey, should I be carrying a gun with me or a taser or something to defend myself? And I can definitely get that rationale, you know, like, because it's safe to actually DoorDash in areas that aren't as good, especially if you're someone who's maybe an easier target. You know, there's also lots of criminals out here, and that doesn't necessarily, you know, they're not the same thing as people who are homeless or people who are having mental breaks, but you don't know who's who. You know, and when you're being looked at as easy target, or as, you know, can I steal this guy's thing when he's not looking? You know, so, and I always keep an eye out too. I'm pretty good about keeping an eye on my surroundings. But yeah, I think more and more it's becoming something people should consider. Like, do I carry a gun with me when I go out to DoorDash? Do I, or something else? It could be non-lethal. All right, we are almost at the McDonald's, and I hope that the orders will pay more than they started at, because this McDonald's was only $4, which is my minimum. You know, I sometimes wonder if the way that DoorDash works is that it just gives you the minimum amount, or it tries to find the minimum amount you'll take on an order, depending on what your acceptance rate has been before, and like independently offer people different things. So you don't really get to see what someone else at DoorDash was offered for a McDonald's order, per se. But if McDonald's can get you to do it for $4 instead of giving it to the next guy for $5 or $6, are they taking the $2 off what they would have paid and only giving you $4 because they know you'll accept $4? And I kind of feel like that's the way it works with the algorithms and everything, and you know, they're trying to keep more money for themselves, but at the same time they don't want your rate of pay to be so low that you don't want to DoorDash anymore because you're making less than minimum wage. All right, I'm here at the store. I'm gonna go pick up my order. All right, that was delivered. I just got another order. I don't know if you can see that. A little hard with that. It's $7.25 for Walgreens. Went and accepted it. It's kind of a blind order. Again, Walgreens for a morning dash. I got that last time too. I didn't really expect to get so many Walgreens orders for morning stuff, but I guess people need things at all times of the day, don't they? People live different lives. By the way, I gotta say, I'm at risk of becoming a morning person. I really like the less traffic, less heat, and all that. And so far, this has been a good dash. Like, I immediately got this as soon as I dropped off that last order, before I could even turn the camera back on. Hopefully, we will not get weird cosmetic stuff or drugs that are hard to find, and it will just be an easy order. Walgreens can either be great or it can be terrible. So we'll see if this turns out to be a good or a bad one. Well, thank you for your help. I really appreciate it. I just got out of the Walgreens. That nice lady helped me find some items that I was having a hard time locating. We ended up needing to find a back massager. And I get that a lot. I get a lot of items that people probably wouldn't want to pick up for themselves. We also got a candle and some Pepsi. I mean, that sounds like a real good morning for some lady. All right, so we're going to go deliver this order and see if we can get another one right away. We haven't had the disastrous $16 order that took us an hour and a half last time, or an hour and 20 minutes. We've only had small good orders. Walgreens and this one didn't take that much time. It was just that I needed to get help finding some of the things. But it sure does speed up the process when you have somebody who's really knowledgeable, like that lady I talked to, and she was able to like take me right to it. Anyway, we're going to have another beautiful day here. It's probably going to get into the mid-80s. We've been having pretty warm days lately. Had a couple 90-degree days, and that's always nice in the afternoon to get out and just do some Doordashing and stuff in the nice warm weather. Where I live, a lot of the places don't have AC, which is kind of a weird thing. In fact, I was talking to the woman at the Walgreens who you saw in that clip. She also lived in Texas for a long time, and both of us were sort of shocked that a state didn't have AC, as it's such a way of life in Texas, in Dallas, and in Houston, and pretty much anywhere in Texas. San Antonio for sure too. You know, everybody has AC. It's like unheard of. If you don't have AC, you basically don't have a tenant, you know, or it's broken. Something happened to it, and you're going to get it repaired immediately because the humidity there is outrageous, whereas here it's not. I can't see because there's this stupid plant in the way, and I'm trying to look around it to see if a car's coming. I really needed to have somebody come cut that plant out of there. Alright, clear on this side, clear on that side. We are here.
Your destination is on the left.
Okay, we just dropped off the Walgreens order. And now, let's see how long it takes to get another. I'm going to head back over to where the restaurants are, as I'm hoping just to get another McDonald's order, maybe one that pays better would be nice. So we'll head back to the McDonald's like we're going to get a McDonald's order. As proximity does matter, and I guess that could be one of the tips today in this video, is your approximation, and also if you're in motion, I think both matter when getting DoorDash orders. So if it's slow, maybe one of the things you might consider would be just moving your vehicle to be a little bit closer to where the place is that you want to pick up from for a delivery. That will often help you. So if you like grocery store orders, start your day hanging out in front of the grocery store. And if you don't get a order from whatever service you're using, in my case DoorDash, then move down the street a little bit, head towards where like other businesses are, and most likely you'll pick up an order. Because proximity to where you are to the restaurant or to the store or whatever, it counts. And when I woke up this morning, I had intended to get out a little earlier and maybe do like the 7 to 9 today, and see how that compares to doing 8 to 10. But I didn't. You know, I stayed in bed a little longer, went back to sleep for a little bit, and I slept good last night too. Guys, I appreciate you checking out my videos. This is my fourth video in the series. And I had more views than ever on the last video, and I think I even picked up a couple subscribers. So thank you to all of you who are new here to the channel and to those that are returning viewers. I've actually had this channel for a long time, and it's kind of a funny thing. I went back and looked at some of the old videos I've had on this channel for a long time and just kind of cringed. And, you know, my old ideal of what great style was and the things I was doing, you know, back in the day. I went ahead and put some of those videos on unlisted. So I didn't delete them, you know, like when I get old and gray and I'm ready to kick the bucket, I'll probably put everything back public, but some of that's just embarrassing. You know, some of the old videos I have. And I was thinking to myself, like, what if an employer sees this or something and I'm doing some stupid shenanigan on a video from, you know, 20 years ago. Back when I wore a fedora, embarrassingly enough. I was looking at that, I was like, oh my God. And, you know, this is back when I was in college, too. I was like, why did I think that was a good style choice? No one wears that. You look like an old dude. I don't know. I guess I've always just not cared very much about style. I just kind of do whatever I think looks good. But, yeah, a lot of cringe back in those old videos. Some of it was kind of humorous. Like, I watched some videos I forgot I had done. You know, only vague memories of them, or some places I've been. And it just kind of makes you think, wow, like, that was a long time ago. Like, I was a whole different person, and that was, you know, a lot of it was well over 10 years ago. I mean, there's some stuff that's back in like 2010, 14 years ago. Crazy, you know, how many things that we do and how much our life changes and our ideas change and what we value changes. And I don't know, it would be nice to go back and talk to that old me and just be like, hey, here's the reality. I know, you're going to college, you're getting these degrees, you feel like you're doing the right thing, which I did. I got my degrees, I did all that, but here I am Doordashing, because there's some things I didn't take into consideration. It's not just what you have, it's also who you know, and that's really more important. It's like, who's going to give you the job? Do you know somebody who works in the industry who can give you the leg up? Because if not, and you're unmarketable, you're an older person like I am now. I would say older. I'm not old, but I'm definitely not young anymore. You're not going to get an interview. People are not going to call you before they call the person who's 20 years younger than you for an interview, just because of your age, if they can determine that you're older, or that you've not had a lot of experience in maybe the area that you got a degree in. Good luck. People have this preconceived notion that older people can't learn as quickly, and they're not going to be as good, or there's something wrong with them. They made a mistake somewhere, and that's why they're in the position they are. It was situational financial stuff that was the reason I got my degree so much later in life than, doing something that I shouldn't have and getting in trouble or something. Like some people probably have had that happen. But, I learned very quickly, and I'm very up to date on the newest AI trends and all this sort of thing. Very technologically savvy. I have expertise in my field, even though it may not appear that way in my application, because a lot of it is private contract work I did for people, which doesn't really write out very well on a resume when you're self-employed and working for lots of different companies, Kind of frustrating, and I would probably just tell myself, getting in that amount of debt for those 2 degrees is not going to be worth it in the end. Have they maybe helped somewhat on getting an interview or 2? I mean, I guess I could say I've got maybe a couple interviews because of it, but I didn't land those jobs. And the jobs I have landed, you don't need a degree for. The sales job I have, you don't need a degree. All you need is to be breathing and have a heartbeat. And then have a track record that's successful that you can actually sell, and you're going to go out and do what you have. So I would say the experience of going through and getting the degree is more valuable than the degree itself. The experience of college has some appeal to it, especially if you're going to be involved in student organizations, maybe make some contacts and stuff. But again, I mean, this is probably on me too. A lot of those contacts I made in school, they haven't stuck, and they haven't been helpful for getting me into a career that's been beneficial. Even the people in the organizations. And again, part of this is on me, but yeah, it didn't really pan out. Here's the thing. So if you're going to go to college and you're not going to get involved and you're just going for the scholastic and to learn stuff, and you're older, and you're just going for the degrees, you're not really going for the experience, and you're not going for the social stuff. In my opinion, it's just not worth it anymore. Not worth it to go to college. If you're in your 30s, your mid-30s, I would say don't do it. It's, unfortunately, unless you know somebody, and they said, if you get this degree, I'm going to hire you, you're going to have such a hard time. That's my experience in the U.S., at least. Oh, hey, we got an order. Wow, this is the lowest order amount I've ever gotten from Safeway. It is 1 item, $4.75. I don't know if you can see that. 1 item, $4.75 for 0.6 miles. I'm going to accept it, but I've never gotten an order from Safeway that's been $4.75. That's the lowest I've ever been offered for a Safeway order. And now that I accepted it, I wonder if that's going to happen again. I'm guessing this is a pickup and drop. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to go over and see if... I'm going to go ahead and say arrived at store, because I'm actually sitting right next to Safeway. Alright, so pick up and drop off. 1 item doesn't mean 1 item, though. 1 item can mean 1 bag of items, or 1 type of item. So, yeah, I've gotten 1 item orders before that have been huge. I know that sounds weird, but they're not 1 item. They're like 1 crate or 1 bag of things. So we'll see if that's the case this time, or if it's actually just 1 item. I can't imagine someone paying DoorDash to deliver one item, but it could be critical. You know, could be another back massager when I need it stat. So this is what one item order looks like. See, not one thing, it's 3 things. Shouldn't that be called 3 items? So, and fortunately I was looking at the delivery and it's just across the street basically is where we're going to. So it is a really close delivery for this. And it didn't take that long to pick it up. I did wait a little bit because the lady didn't know I was picking up DoorDash. I'm not really dressed, I guess, today like most DoorDashers. I would say, you know, because the shirt, I'm a little bit more ready for the interview. As much as I like doing these DoorDash videos, I can't keep doing this financially. It's like, you know, you work the entire month for DoorDash and you're lucky to cover your bills and expenses. You're not going to be saving a lot of money unless you work 8 hours a day. You know, so I worked this last month, I worked pretty much every day. I took maybe 3-4 days off. I think 3 days off. And, you know, I covered all my bills, expenses, food, gas, blah, blah, blah. Even, well, no, I can't say I did that. You know, there was even a couple expenses I wasn't able to cover. But here I am at the end of the month, and I didn't profit from this. There's nothing I'm coming away with. I'm giving all this money away to my landlords, to bills, to, you know, I have some debt that rabbit ran in front of me. I have some debt I'm going to be paying off, so a lot of it goes to those bills. I did get one credit card paid off last month, which is nice, but I still have others I need to pay. And my debt's increasing, not decreasing, you know, because some of the expenses...
delivery. Call customer.
Some of the expenses I couldn't cover, I had to put on credit. All right, we are here. So I need to make a change, you know. I, in my other job, do have commissions that are coming up, but it's like you could be waiting 3-4 months. You know, there's a time of the year dashing is not as reliable. It's not going to be something you can depend on as much, and that's going to be in the winter time here. We have snow. There's ice on the roads. I've been through a couple winters here. I don't want to dash in the wintertime, so I got to figure out something else, or I'm not going to dash as much in the wintertime if there's snow on the ground. So I need to figure something out anyway before the winter time gets here. So this job today could be that ticket. Anyway, I'm going to go drop this order, and I'll be back in a second. Well, got back in the car immediately after that order. We got another order. McDonald's, $5.50 this time, 1.9 miles. I'm going to take it. McDonald's is usually pretty quick, and 1.9 is certainly not too far. So part of that's going to be getting over to the McDonald's. So I don't know. It might take us a little out of the way, because we are pretty close to McDonald's. So we're a mile and a half out, though. It's not going to kill our area. We won't be in a new territory. It has been slower. So after 10 o'clock, so far not impressed. We had that long lull. I was able to go on and on about all sorts of things about education. So totally unrelated to this channel. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of people who have degrees probably having the same issue, you know, hard to get another job if you lost a job, you know, unless you're real specialized, and you might have to do gig economy work as a side hustle, or as your main job, you know, if you're just having a really tough time of it. All right, hey, we are almost at McDonald's. That was quick. All right, we just picked up the McDonald's order. It took a little longer than I wanted it to, as it was like the first lunch order of the day. So I had a question about that earlier too. I was like, when can you get your first lunch order? And I guess the answer is between 10 and 11. As they were just getting the burger ready, and it took a little longer. I'm not sure if maybe it was the fries or what. I can't see what I'm doing here, but okay, we managed to not hit that car, which is always a good thing. It was close. Anyway, that brings me to my second tip for this video. be nice to the people who work at the restaurant, no matter what the situation is. And I got to tell you, working in this industry, I've seen other DoorDashers be assholes to people who work at the restaurant. It's not their fault a lot of times. These orders are taking a long time. It's they're understaffed, or their management didn't put the right people on shift, or they're not trained well, or whatever it is. There's no reason to be an asshole to someone who works at a restaurant. You can get impatient. You can cancel your order because it's taking too long. That's fine. But if you're nice to people, there's perks. And I got a perk on this last order. This lady just gave me a free large Coke for waiting a couple extra minutes. You know, I stand there patiently. I'm not demanding. I'm not saying things like, oh, this is taking forever. Fuck these people, you know, or anything like that. Be nice to them. You know, it's going to pay off. Instead of you getting flack or resentment or having an angry conversation with an employee, a lot of times they're going to hook you up with a Coke, you know, and, you know, you can cancel regardless of the interaction with the store staff, you know. So there's recourse for you. If you don't want the order, you don't have to go back, and you don't have to wait. You can go and cancel your order, go to the next one, you know. But it's not just here I've gotten free stuff. I've gotten free stuff at KFC, at a lot of restaurants too, that I have to go in and wait for a little bit. So a lot of them are just real gracious. And if you're a nice person, you might end up with some free food. I've even got a free pizza before. Doordashing. A person was like, hey, this person never came to pick up this pizza. You want a free large cheese pizza? I was like, hell yeah. You know, so being nice, and this is true on anything in life, not just DoorDash. Being nice to other people, it doesn't mean you have to be a pushover, but it usually pays dividends, you know. You're going to come out better for it in life. You never know who those people know. They might have a relationship that ends up getting you your next job. You know, like we were talking about earlier. Relationships are important in life, for sure. Anyway, so free drinks. One of those very small perks that you can get doing a DoorDash job, especially if you're someone who's there a lot, and if you've never been a jerk to them. They're more willing usually to be nice in return and hook you up with something if you've been waiting. So I guess that's the 2 tips. Well, 3 tips really. Like we talked about the possibility of bringing something for self-defense if you're worried about that. Like I said, in my case, I normally don't do that, but I can see how that would be practical. And then yes, proximity to the location is important. So if you want an order from McDonald's, hang out in front of the McDonald's. I mean, that's kind of pretty common knowledge, I would think, but just in case you're not thinking about it, you know, sitting at your house far away from businesses is going to get you less business than if you're new to the business. And then third, be nice to the staff. It pays perks, you know, there's dividends. But yeah, one way or another, I'll let you know what I end up doing. And if you see another Doordashing video and I don't say anything at all, well, then I didn't get the job, and I'm just staying with what I'm doing currently. You know, this could work out. I think people make decent money in the industry I'm in for my main job with solar, but it just, you know, there's no safety net. And then this DoorDashing thing, no, it doesn't pay a lot, but I can't cover my expenses. I'm hoping that doing these videos eventually will be profitable. You know, I've seen some of the other people out there on YouTube who do these videos, and according to them, they're making pretty good money. Like way better than I ever made on YouTube, and I've done some other YouTube projects before that were partnered projects, you know. And not that many subscribers, but enough where I made some money, you know. But the money you make doing this seems like it's way more worth it than what I got doing the other YouTube projects I did. So I just dropped off that order. I've been here before, so I kind of knew the deal with the way this is set up. But it's one of those apartment complexes that can be a little complex to find the right place if I've never been there before, as there's like 3 different buildings. And some of the addresses on the outside are not complete, like there's numbers that have fallen off of them. Anyway, we got it done. It was funny, the customer came out after I dropped that off took it off camera, but he was saying, hey, I apologize if you got lost. Like, he was watching the map as we drove by his place and was like, son of a bitch. But hey, we weren't that far down the road. We just turned around and got there immediately. Anyway, I've already got another order. $6 for McDonald's again. Same McDonald's that we were just at, that we got the nice Coke from. So see, another little reason why you want to be nice to the people who work at the fast food restaurants. Don't be a jerk if they're a little slow, because your very next order might be the same exact restaurant, and it's going to be that same lady again who remembered how nice you were to her the first time. You know, so it pays to work well with others. The less bad relationships you foster, the better, right? By the way, I gotta say, I've always known, and this has kind of come out as a fact, that the Coke you get at McDonald's tastes better. I always thought that, you know, even as a kid, I was like, man, this Coke from McDonald's is better than the Coke you get out of the bottle at home, you know, or out of the can at home. And then I saw a special on TV. I don't remember if it was 60 Minutes or it was some kind of news thing. And they're like, yes, the Coke at McDonald's is actually better because they have a higher concentration of syrup that they put into the actual Coke there, because they know it's going to be diluted by the water in the ice that you put into your cup. So it's actually a stronger, less diluted syrup that they're using, which it makes it more tasty. You know, so there's all this like extra food science stuff they're doing to give you the perfect Coke experience at McDonald's. And, you know, you can think what you want about McDonald's, like the burgers are kind of poor excuses of what burgers at other restaurants are as far as like volume and mass and all that stuff. But for the little rinky-dink, you know, wilted up piece of meat you get and buns and stuff, it tastes phenomenal. Like, the food scientists are on point there. They know the right salt content to put on, you know, the burger. They have the sauces down where just the right amount of ketchup and mustard. It's just like, it's delicious, you know. So even if you're getting those rinky-dink, you know, cheeseburgers, they call them, that are like two that are like $3 or something, they're so cheap, they're good, you know. They may be like their own classification of a burger, but you can't argue with delicious, you know. It is good. It's kind of a guilty pleasure, but I almost put it like they're burgers into a different category. It's, you know, not really the same as a regular burger like you're going to go make on your grill, or you're going to get from a nice restaurant, some steakhouse or something like that. That's a totally different experience. But they are delicious, and they're quick and easy. So I can't argue with that. And the Coke is actually better, you know, than any other of the restaurants that I've run into. I think the Coke at McDonald's is always on point. It's a quick one too. We are at 11:24. So I think after this drop off, we'll do our wrap up. See how we did on this morning dash, 9:30 to 11:30. And kind of compare it to last time, where I think I said we averaged like 15 something. I don't remember all the exact numbers, but it kind of worked out to minimum wage because of that one really bad order we had at the beginning of the day. Versus today, where we really didn't have a bad order, but we did have a lull where I was able to give you this long diatribe about school and everything else in life, you know, that I'm thinking about. It was on my mind. So we had a dead period of what, 10-15 minutes? Well, the proactive lunch crowd is out. There was a line forming in there at 11:30, so that kind of makes me think if I wanted to start my lunch shift, now's about the time to do it. So we got cars flying in behind me and stopping right behind me too. Let's go. The guy stops behind me. There's no one in front of him. He's just sitting in the middle of the parking lot behind me, and I start backing up to let him know, hey, I'm coming out. And then he honks at me like I'm doing something wrong. He's looking at me, obviously, because he knew to honk. So he's just being a jerk. All right, let's see. Where are we going to? And then he wants to look and shake his head. Then I think when he saw me, he decided he didn't want to do more than that. That was pretty quick, even though we had that lunch line. You know, if you're Doordash, just go up to where they put the orders out. And if you have your red bag, like I said in the first video, use your bags. It was actually my very first tip. Use your bags. You know, when somebody sees this and you're standing up at the counter, being a nice person, but, you know, obviously there to pick up an order, they will know to grab that and bring it to you without you having to say anything. So that's why I like the red bag. I like any kind of nonverbal communication you can do. Is all they need is a glance, and they know what the deal is if they've been there any amount of time and know what the routine is with DoorDash or whatever service you're using. But yes, 11:32. Of course, my clock is a little bit fast, so it's actually a couple minutes till. We actually, theoretically, if we drop this off in the next couple of minutes, could get one more order, because I think it's actually about 4 till. So it's about, the real time's about 11:26. So I always have my clock a little fast, and it's just been a habit of mine to be early for appointments and things like that. So I like to try to be 5 minutes early, so I just set my clock ahead. So it's kind of silly because I know I set my clock ahead, so, you know, I'm not really tricking myself. I'm just early. There we go. See, I turned up the volume a little bit. She's like, yep, it's on the left. Okay, we dropped off that order. It actually took me another 3 minutes to walk over to the right location, as again, DoorDash dropped me off on a street that is not where the address is, around the corner, and it took me 3 minutes to walk there. So, I mean, that basically cost them an order. So DoorDash, if you're watching this, there's another good reason to upgrade your navigation system. I probably could have taken another order after this one and would have accepted it, but it took me 3 minutes to walk over to the actual location of the address on the correct street that was not listed in your directions. So anyway, we are done. It is now 11:32 according to this. Let's take a look at our earnings today and figure out what we made. Okay, so today we've made $27.50, which is less than last time. And our start time officially was 9:43, and we ended at 11:30. So I was actually a little later than 9:30 when I got started, to be fair. So we can't really technically divide by 2. It would be like 1.75. So let us do the math. 27.50 divided by 1.75 and just kind of see the rate. Now, I did get more orders this time, but they are all smaller orders. An hour. So, $15.71. Still not great. Still not great. $15.71 is less than I like to make. Is it better than last time? Yes, actually. If we, don't round up to 2 hours. Now, if we round up to 2 hours, obviously we made less money because this is less dollars. But for active hours, and if we had taken another order, we would have definitely made more. But I didn't get gas or anything like that today. It was pretty quick out the door. There wasn't a lot of extra prep work. So I would probably call this an actual 1 hour and 43-minute DoorDash. And of that, we were not active the entire time we were talking here on camera for an extra 10-15 minutes. So $15.75. So that's the second morning dash I've done now. Both of them I'm kind of thinking not so hot, right? I'm not super impressed by the morning time. I want to try one more at least, and I know the sample size is still small, right? And keep in mind I'm in a mid-sized city. This is not a huge city. Might be better in a big city, right? And probably be worse in a small town. But here in this mid-sized city, not impressed with morning dashing so far. I'm going to try one in the morning, though, from 7 to 9, and we'll see how that goes if I continue to do this. Now, like I said earlier, I got a job interview here in a little bit. Could change things, may end up putting me off dashing altogether. And I'll let you know, either in the end of this video, at an outro, or in an upcoming video, if I'm still undecided by the end of the interview. But if this is the last time that we're talking here on DoorDash, hopefully this has all been useful information for you. Helps you with your dashing out there. And, there are better things for people. If you're looking for a job right now and maybe you just couldn't find one and you're DoorDashing, just keep trying. You can pay your bills on DoorDash if you just figure out how much you need to earn per day and divide it out by the days of the month and give yourself some days off. It's possible to get by on DoorDash. It's a lot of work if you want to pay all your bills, Rent's expensive, and utilities and bills and stuff. So, I mean, it's a full-time job if you're going to do it that way, at least here in a mid-sized city. But anyway, this is what it is. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thumbs up the video. I'd appreciate a subscribe. The channel could change in the future if I end up stop doing DoorDashing videos. but this has always sort of been my vlogging YouTube channel, so I'm sure there'll be some other sort of content. But if the 5th episode shows up and we're doing another morning dashing, then this will probably go on for a while, as I've decided to stay with my current game plan. So anyway, thank you guys. I think I'm done blathering, but $15.73 was today's hourly rate for the morning dash. And this is a late morning dash, probably less advisable. I think there's more holes after 10 o'clock, dead times, in other words, than there would be if we had started earlier. So I am actually optimistic about the next morning dash being the winner, the 7 or maybe even 6 till whenever, you know. All right, guys, we'll see ya.